Thank you kindly for joining us. Good Thursday afternoon to you. A lot to cover on the program. Albemarle County Public Schools, the metrics, the data, the KPIs do not lie. And ACPS continues to slip, and slip where it matters the most. In the classroom, from a performance standpoint, with reading, writing, and math. We have more tangible evidence that Albemarle County Public Schools are shadows of their former selves. Fantastic reporting from the Crozet Gazette, which we will unpack on today's show. Lisa Martin, the author of this story. The only thing this article was missing was a headline that was justifiable of the story's content and the performance of the largest public school system in Central Virginia. We're going to talk on today's program about white-collar racketeering. If you remember when the UVA health story initially broke and we started hearing about backroom dealing, when we started hearing about C-suite using power and scare tactics to maintain their influence, their wealth, and their compensation, when we started hearing the rumors about medical chart changing, about falsely billing patients. I use the term on this program, a white-collar racketeering story. And ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what's happened. We're going to unpack a newly filed federal lawsuit which accuses former leaders at the University of Virginia Health System of orchestrating a coordinated campaign of corruption, fraud, and retaliation. The Jefferson Council, very quick to send me their analysis on what's happening. We've dug deep into this story while reading other media outlets as well. We will unpack the truth today on the I Love CVille Show. Also on the program, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to highlight two pieces of real estate that are currently listed, active, and for sale. 911 Bolling Avenue in Belmont, a $429,000 asking price, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and yes, only 1,045 square feet. An asking price that's stunned, that's scared, that's shocked a lot of the buying and selling marketplace. We'll also highlight a piece of property on Park Street that's for sale, that's got the Redditors on the Charlottesville subreddit up at arms. This show spares no expense. This show cuts through the BS. That's why you watch and listen to the I Love CVille Show. Ladies and gentlemen, on today's program, I'm going to ask you this question. Is the Belmont neighborhood now the top dining destination, dining area in all of the city of Charlottesville? At one time, it was the downtown mall. Then we watch Midtown and West Main pull that moniker away from downtown, as Daniel Kaufman, who's watching this program, did a phenomenal job, along with Peter Castiglione and a host of others, of positioning Midtown and West Main atop the totem pole. Now it appears West Main and Midtown have some competition, and that competition, ladies and gentlemen, goes by the name Belmont. We'll talk football on today's program. UVA is a 17.5-point favorite against visiting Washington State. The game is Saturday at 6:30 here in Charlottesville, 2 miles from where I sit. Tony Elliott's football team has an opportunity to become bowl eligible. Judah, bowl eligible.
It's pretty amazing.
7 games into the season, a team that was left to die. Elliott goes from outhouse to penthouse and is now on the short list for ACC Coach of the Year and a short list for National Coach of the Year. So much to unpack today on the I Love CVille Show. Judah, studio camera. And from studio camera, we welcome Neil Williamson and Carol Thorpe to the program. TV, radio, and print watching the program. 2 print outlets watching the show as we speak. We'll give some props to Conan Owen of Sir Speedy of Central Virginia. He is a Darden School graduate. If you need an application for tangible scaling of your business logo, your nonprofit logo, you call one company, Sir Speedy of Central Virginia, and Conan Owen. Locally owned and operated. This man has a way of creating visibility for your brand and your logo. He's doing it for my firm, the Miller Organization, and our subsidiaries, VMV Brands, I Love CVille Real Estate, Charlottesville Business Brokers, and our vast client roster. I trust him. I do business with him. Conan Owen, Sir Speedy of Central Virginia. Judah Wickower, headline most intriguing to you today, and why, my trusted friend?
I think with with the school board race currently heating up, it's incumbent on us to take a look at this. Take a look at this article on from the Crozet Gazette with a misleading headline and some somewhat troubling numbers in there.
We're going to talk about a school division, ladies and gentlemen, from a reading achievement standpoint, that is now the second worst in the Commonwealth of Virginia. 132, is it?
Yeah.
Public schools in Virginia. And from an achievement reading standpoint, we are looking at second to last place.
Worse than last year's fourth place.
And fourth place not from the top.
Right.
A lot we're going to talk about on today's show. The lead of the program, as you put the lower third on screen. Remember when this story initially broke, I coined the phrase white-collar racketeering within the UVA health system? I said, think about it this way. You have a man in power. I'm going to paint a picture, viewers and listeners. And I'm going to ask you, when I paint this picture, what does this painted picture remind you of, Judah? What does this painted picture remind you, viewers and listeners? You ready for this? You have a man in power behind the scenes. A man who is significantly compensated to the tune of more than $1 million a year in pay. A man who is so desperate and hungry and eager to cling to his power, his influence, and compensation, that he will do anything and everything to maintain that prestige, that dominance, even if it means breaking the law. A man so eager to cling to power and prestige that he will change outcomes even if it's against the law. A man so eager to cling to power and prestige that he will bully, intimidate, extort, scare, blackmail. A man so eager to maintain his power that he will do anything necessary to keep himself and his lieutenants in a cozy, comfy position of wealth accumulation and societal influence and acclaim. That painting of a picture is one that you could use to describe drug lords, the don of a mafia family, a godfather, the head of a corner crew in any urban locality in any city of America. But no. That painted picture is one of the former CEO of the UVA health system. And now a federal lawsuit, newly filed, accuses former leaders of the University of Virginia health system of orchestrating a coordinated campaign of corruption, fraud, retaliation, compromising a health system's integrity, which is its most pure and necessary pursuit for a health system to operate. Integrity, honesty, and doing right by its most vulnerable, sick and dying people. This federal lawsuit, filed in October 3rd in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Virginia, as the Jefferson Council has highlighted, brings sweeping allegations under the Racketeering, Influenced, and Corrupt Organization Act, otherwise known as RICO. The plaintiffs, 4 former UVA physicians and the families of 2 deceased patients, claim that high-ranking officials at UVA Health engaged in repeated illegal conduct to enhance their careers and financial standing at the expense of staff and patient safety. Named in the complaint are several prominent figures in UVA Health recent leadership, including Craig Kent, the former CEO of UVA Health, Melina Kibbe, former UVA School of Medicine Dean and current president of UT Health Houston, Dr. Alan Song, Dr. Kim Dela Cruz, and Dr., I'm going to butcher this name, Urania Provencia. This difficult name is to the benefit of this particular doctor here because I cannot pronounce it, and they won't be able to find it online after thousands of people listen and watch this podcast.
You can spell it.
Should I spell it?
No. Orania Provenza?
Also named the rector and visitors of the University of Virginia, the University of Virginia's physicians group, the Commonwealth of Virginia. I mean, this...
Let's just throw in the entire...
This is everybody.
Commonwealth. Well,
This is everybody. The plaintiffs alleged that the group, dubbed the Kent Enterprise in the complaint, engaged in fraudulent billing, falsified medical records, retaliated against whistleblowers, and made reckless hiring decisions. This is absolutely insane. The plaintiffs allege or claim that this has led to the death of patients at UVA Health.
Yeah.
When the story broke, yours truly of the I Love CVille Show called this white-collar racketeering. When this story broke, yours truly of the I Love CVille Show said if it wasn't Mont Blanc pens and stethoscopes, white lab coats, medical charts, and false billing, and instead it was machine guns, bags of heroin and cocaine, brass knuckles, Uzis, and tricked out Suburbans, it would be all over the news, already in court, and already leading to arrest. But because it's white collar, Mont Blanc pens, laptops, iPads, Rolexes, Mercedes-Benz, medical charts, stethoscopes, and lab coats, instead of heroin, cocaine, Uzis, machine guns, tricked out luxury automobiles, and blasting music, it's flowing under the radar, or it's just turn the other cheek. So much so that Craig Kent, upon his retirement, was given by the University of Virginia a massive sack of money to leave. So much so that Melina Kibbe, the former UVA School of Medicine and former UVA School of Medicine dean, is now the president of UT Health in Houston.
Yeah.
In some cases, Kibbe has gotten a promotional vertical climb.
Yeah.
We live in a wild world where you can commit alleged crimes to the white-collar nature or standpoint, and you can get promotions halfway across the country in Houston and be seduced and romanticized to the job, while the head honcho of the white-collar racketeering gets a sack of millions of dollars to leave. If this happens on Prospect Avenue, if this happens on Grady Avenue, if this happens on 10th and Page, and it's tricked out Suburbans, automatic weapons, drugs, violence, and intimidation, it's arrests, time in jail, and a community that's already perceived or stigmatized you as guilty.
Some people say that there are two sets of laws in this country.
Looks like it to me. We'll follow this closely. But our use of white-collar racketeering, when this story broke, and anyone who watches this program knows that's how we monikered it from day one. Looks like that's how it's playing out as we speak. Viewers and listeners, let us know your thoughts. Judah Wickower, your thoughts on what is the water cooler of conversation, content, and chatter in Charlottesville and Central Virginia, the I Love CVille Show. Judah Wickower.
I'm glad that we've got, there are times when I think that our country is far too litigious, far too willing to jump on a lawsuit. But in cases like this, I think it's a good thing that we've got brave people who are willing to keep pushing, because justice isn't always fast, and to pursue it, especially against against people like doctors pursuing it against universities requires money.
Requires money, requires tenacity, requires patience, requires thick-skinnedness, requires fortitude, a willingness to look at employers or potential employers and risk future employment or current employment. The folks pursuing this are especially the doctors in particular, are risking their professional careers.
No doubt.
Whether this is whistleblowing, whether this is, they're risking their professional careers here.
They could get blacklisted.
You can get blacklisted. Follow the story closely. Print, radio, and television, watching the program. You should be covering this. There's one radio group in this town that's extremely hesitant to cover this because UVA Health is one of their prime partners and underwriters and advertisers. I'll be straight to the point. There's the TV stations hesitant to cover this because UVA Health is one of their prime underwriters, sponsors, and advertisers. Same goes for print. You have not seen much coverage of this besides this program because media is a business and this institution forks out a hell of a lot of money, ladies and gentlemen. And that right there is the truth. And that's why you listen to the show. You get that Crozet Gazette article ready to go. I want to give some love to Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. They speak the truth. 61 years in business, Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. John Vermillion, Andrew Vermillion. They are 3 generations of family running Charlottesville Sanitary Supply for the last 61 years. The Vermillion name is 5 generations strong in Albemarle County. Did you know that Charlottesville Sanitary Supply has any sanitary product that you need? Any product that you can find on the internet and any of the big box stores or their websites, and Charlottesville Sanitary Supply will get the product that you purchase at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com delivered to you the same day for free. The big box brands and their websites cannot do that. Free same-day in-market delivery from Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. Mechanic on-site to fix your vacuums. The ones you should be buying are the Miele vacuums, the best vacuums in the business, and you buy those at Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. They keep your pool water clean. They keep your pools healthy, your robots healthy and operating that clean your pools. And they do it with smile and grace and kindness and honesty. Crozet Gazette, Lisa Martin. Parents of Albemarle County public school students, giddy up and get ready. Judah Wickower, are you ready to set the stage on this? If you have yet to read the article in the Crozet Gazette, and the headline is extremely, is misleading the right word?
I think so.
Is it incorrect the right word? Is it just poor headline writing? The headline, Schools Laud Momentum on SOL Scores. And I'm like, what? And then I start reading this and I'm like, uh-oh.
Momentum?
Uh-oh. What's going on here? Even Allison Spillman. Even Allison Spillman expressed disappointment. She says it's concerning our lack of progress with our black and brown students and even going backwards. We spent all this money on the Bellwether report and it feels like we're not getting anywhere. At what point do we say maybe the things we're trying aren't working? I think as a board, as we go into budget season, we're looking at where money is being spent, and it behooves us to look at what is actually working and what's not, and where money needs to be allocated to get these kids into a better position. End quote, Allison Spillman. For once, Allison Spillman, we agree on something.
I got to give props where props are due. She said what should have been said by a lot.
Holy shit, Allison Spillman, we agree on something. You actually had a take that was reasonable and backed in fact, and a take that is on behalf of the student body across the board and not just a small pocket of the student body. Allison Spillman, we agree on something. Stop the presses. Set the stage, Judah Wickower. Set the stage, Judah Wickower. I'm fired up today on the I Love CVille Show.
So the basis for the headline, Schools Laud Momentum on SOL Scores, is that is that division-wide ACPS have their pass rates in math have risen 2 points, up to 74%. Science up 2 points to 70%. Reading flat at 75%, and history dropped a point to 72%.
Now, who cares about history? Who cares about history?
Exactly. But what
I'm joking, Mr. Joyce. I love you, Mr. Joyce.
What comes immediately after that is the reading pass rate for all students was 75%, but only 47% for black students. In math, the economically disadvantaged had a 50% pass rate, 24 points below the average, and similar gaps for Hispanic students and people learning English and students with disabilities. So the issue here is that while the points are slowly ticking up, there is still a massive gap between white students and students of color, students with disabilities, students who are learning English, and as Allison Spillman noted, we can do better, especially with the money that we're spending on our schools.
Albemarle County Public Schools has become so left-leaning. Albemarle County Public Schools has become so focused on diversity, equity, inclusion. Albemarle County Public Schools has become so dominated by one political party. Albemarle County Public Schools has become so manipulated by a superintendent that is leading with little to no oversight, that its current version of itself is one that folks may not even recognize. Black and brown students within Albemarle County Public Schools are, without question, disserviced.
Yeah.
Black and brown students within Albemarle County Public Schools are, without question, so far behind their white peers.
A comparison between the reading SOL pass rates for white and black ACPS students reveals a 41-point gulf, which is 5 points wider than last year.
Say it again.
White student scores increased while black student scores declined. Albemarle's school division, as you've noted before, now has the second worst reading achievement gap among Virginia's 132 divisions, even worse than its fourth place last year. On the math SOLs, white and black students each gained points, but that still leaves a 39-point gap between them. ACPS's racial achievement gap in math is the fourth worst in the state. And for both reading and math, Albemarle's black students fared worse than most other divisions in the state, scoring 15 points lower on the reading SOLs than the state average for black students, and 11 points lower in math. That's not a good record.
This is a travesty. This is a travesty what's happening with black and brown students in Albemarle County Public Schools. Mm-hmm. And this effort to rename schools. Meriwether to Ivy. What was it? Kale to, what is it now?
I don't know all the name changes.
Mountainwood?
I don't know.
The school named
Mountain
Lakeside,
Stream?
that's the school named Lakeside, that's not even by a lake. Not even next to a lake.
But it sounds good. And it's not a bad name.
This rebranding effort, this effort to clandestine or cock block speakers from offering commentary at lunch for student organizations, this effort to lead with inclusivity without focusing on classroom performance, all it has done is made sacrificial lambs of black and brown students. And if anyone watching this program does not think that this doesn't trickle over to white students as well, while sitting in classroom with the whole black, white, Puerto Rican, or Haitian, Chinese, Asian, Japanese student body that's in these classrooms. A teacher cannot take an overpopulated classroom and teach different curriculums on a daily basis to kids that are in this wide of a performance spectrum.
Yeah.
This teacher, man or woman, is eventually going to have an educational curriculum or some kind of teaching that meets the kids in the middle and hope the kids at the bottom can catch up to the middle and the kids at the top are not bored out of their minds. That's just the nature of it. Eventually, we need to say, enough already, school board, enough already, Matthew Haas, enough already, Matthew Haas lieutenants.
Yeah.
And we need to go.
There's a truly baffling statement from Patrick McLaughlin, the Assistant Superintendent for Strategic Planning, in response to what Spillman had to say. He says, I don't understand how somebody in this position could say this, but he says, in reading, we did not see progress over the last 3 years, but to characterize it as zero progress, I'm not sure is quite fair.
Is that out of touch at best?
I honestly don't know.
Insane at worst?
It's wild. We didn't see progress, but I wouldn't characterize it as zero progress.
So you have to ask yourself, how did we get to this point? You can't blame this on COVID anymore.
No.
Is it maybe some collateral damage of the pandemic? Sure. But you can't blame this on COVID anymore. How did we get to this point?
I mean, some people would say maybe it's the new plan. They've got they mention in this article a strategic plan. The division's strategic plan is really a 5-year plan, and we're 2 years into it. So maybe it's not, it hasn't fully picked up yet.
Ginny Hu watching the program. Her photo on screen. She says, Albemarle County Public Schools continues to shine up that turd. Great leadership, Matthew Haas, and Albemarle County Public Schools is the reason that the SOL scores are improving so much. Sarcasm from Ginny. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink, Ginny. Or no, that's, excuse me. I stand corrected. I apologize. Those are Warrior AG's comments, not Ginny Hu's. Warrior AG's on Twitter. I'm correcting myself. That is Albert Graves, Warrior AG, and not Ginny Hu. I will start this from the beginning. Warrior AG says, ACPS continues to shine up that turd. He then sarcasms throws shade at Matthew Haas. And then he says, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink. And then Albert Graves says, and he lives in Albemarle and has kids at Albemarle County Public Schools. It's clearly evident that ACPS's priority is not within the classroom and their students, but more about making the DEI crowd happy and content. This is what happens when you allow education to be politicized.
Yeah.
You know what I think education is about and public schools are about? I'll put it in a nutshell. This is what I think public schools are about, okay? Public schools are about getting our children to school safely and on time. First thing, because they can't learn if they don't get to school and they're not safe. Number one priority a public school has to do, get your kid to school safely on time. Number two priority, now that they're safe and on time at school, help them get through the day in the safest way possible, safe, and help them be the best versions of themselves each day as it applies to academics, socialization, and athletics, extracurriculars. Then the number three priority, get your kid home and safe on time. There's your priorities for a school. Public school. Okay? We have, what we should do is we should do a graph with the top spends. Public schools and Deep Throat could do this. The top spends per student in the Commonwealth. Albemarle County's at the top. More than 20 grand a student spent. Taxpayer money to educate these kids. but they're at the top of what it costs to educate these kids in the Commonwealth, but they're at the bottom in performance.
Yeah. I'd like to see a graph that plots performance and money spent.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And this, and getting back to Haas, oh man.
Never a good sign when getting back to Haas. Oh man.
Yeah. In a meeting this August, talking about the project that their strategic plan, most of their 89 of their components, project components is what they call them, have been completed out of 92. Yet obviously the gaps persist, and this is Haas, in a meandering closing statement, complained that the State Board of Education plans to raise SOL cut scores, the cutoff pass rates needed for students to qualify as proficient next year. So then that brings into question, what are these tests for, he asked. Well, obviously it's to make sure that you're doing your job. Should we not raise the cut rate? Whatever, should we not make sure that the lowest of the students are getting higher, doing better than they were last year? Or do we just decide that everybody gets a 50 no matter what work they do?
You call it social promotion?
Yeah.
Equity grading? You call it equity grading? Social promotion?
As you mentioned.
Well, who wants to moniker it? We can brand it any way we want.
It's not doing our children any benefits.
It's travesty. Travesty. And maybe, and this is sarcasm, tongue in cheek, maybe the Spillman, what's the word? Hubbaloo? What's the word?
Hullabaloo?
Maybe the Spillman hubbaloo?
Close.
About the speaker at Western Albemarle High School, and the banning of the speaker at Western Albemarle High School from last week,
Yeah.
and the locker rooms, allowing boys to go into girls' locker rooms to change under the guise that they are trans curious.
Yeah.
Maybe all that was smoke and mirrors to distract us, the taxpayer, the parent, and the Albemarle Countyan from the true problem. Maybe the school board and Dr. Haas are really genius. And they're like, oh my God, this is coming out. Lisa Martin is going to cover this in the Crozet Gazette. We have to come up with a way to hide this story. Hey, Allie, you post on your private Facebook account that the kids at Western Albemarle High School are the KKK. And then we're going to let these sophomores and juniors and seniors at Western Albemarle High School go into the girls' locker room. And you know what? Jerry and the I Love CVille show and the locals in Albemarle County, they're going to be so transfixed, the fact that Spillman called them the KKK and then doubled down on her Facebook page and then had an alligator tear apology at a school board meeting, and then the chair and the vice chair and me, Matthew Haas, are going to issue a statement supporting Allison Spillman and not doing anything to distance ourselves, the school division, from saying Spillman's choice of the Ku Klux Klan was bad. And then we're going to throw in a little dose, a little pepper, a little spice, and a little cha-cha-cha-cha of the boys being able to go into the locker rooms to watch girls change because they're trans curious. And we're going to do all this so Judah and Jerry in Albemarle County don't see the real story. And the real story is the classroom performance is. Your words?
There's a massive gap between different sections of our student bodies, and it's growing, sadly.
There you go. Maybe he's a genius and understands how to work the PR game better than we think. Comments coming in. John Blair's photo on screen. This in regards to the white-collar racketeering from John Blair. He says, Jerry, if you recall, when the entire Jim Ryan scenario played out this summer, Yours truly, he's talking to himself here, said the unspoken story about the health system was not being stated. I said there would be another major shoe to drop. This lawsuit is what I was talking about. It's absolutely crazy. John Blair continues. He's number 2 in the family. I trust him implicitly. He's a smart man.
Yeah.
John Blair says, and Jerry, I think that when you read this lawsuit, I cannot understand the state legislators being so upset about the Jim Ryan situation. When you look at the entire situation of the health system, which is bigger than the academic side of UVA, how in the world is the Board of Visitors unjustified in what happened with Jim Ryan? The situation was absolutely unacceptable to any person with a conscience and should never have devolved to that point if the allegations are true.
Good points.
Basically saying that the Ryan ousting was 100% merit-based and justified.
Yeah, if Ryan allowed all of that to happen, and if even I think a portion of what is alleged was going on under his watch, then he's saying that he didn't deserve to be in there.
Bill McChesney watching the program. William McChesney, the mayor of McIntyre. The worst change was Jack Jewett, one of Central Virginia's most historic figures. Without Jack Jewett, Thomas Jefferson and others would have been captured, and how the beginning of this country would have been is a completely different story. That's history, Jerry. Well said, William. And he said another word we could consider, what's the word, hullabaloo?
Hullabaloo?
Was hubbub.
Hubbub works.
And he said, those boys at Western Almar are not trans-curious. I've never heard this word. Is it pervalicious?
Pervalicious?
Yeah.
I think he made that word up.
No, is that a play on perverts?
I think so.
Oh, God, pervalicious. Rebecca Maupin Simmons watching the program. Rebecca Maupin Simmons, if we have a photo of her, we'll put it on screen. We may not. We need to get a photo of her because she's been making the program better. Add her to the family, Rebecca Maupin Simmons. I've had 4 kids graduate from Albemarle County Public Schools, Western Albemarle High School, one of which was biracial. The experience she had compared to the other 3, which are white, was drastically different. I grew up in Crozet and wanted my kids to experience that. It's a far different place now, sadly. Thank you for those comments, Rebecca Maupin Simmons, and welcome to the family. Randy O'Neill says, this is a complete free fall from when my small business helped Stone Robinson reach full accreditation. Jason Noble watching the program. He says, I'm convinced Craig Kent referred to his gang as the Kenterprise.
I was going to say, when you read the Kent Enterprise, I was like, man, they missed the perfect opportunity to call that group the Kenterprise.
No, I think that's actually what they're calling it in the lawsuit, is the Kenterprise. It's genius, right?
Is.
I'm pretty, in fact, oh no, the plaintiffs allege that the group dubbed the Kent Enterprise. It's not the Kent Enterprise. Jason Noble and Judah Wickower have come up with a new moniker. Let's remember that moniker. That's going to be the moniker from here on out. The white-collar racketeering led by the Kenterprise. The white-collar racketeering spearheaded by the Kenterprise. That's what we're going to use from here on out. The white-collar racketeering motivated, spearheaded, led, driven by the Kenterprise. Jason Noble, someone should tell Spillman that this is a result of the policies she advocates for. I will be straightforward here, and I'll catch some heat for this. The outcomes we have now at Albemarle County Public Schools are the result of a county in totality failing to diversify its elected leadership. You know who's to blame for all this?
We are.
Us as taxpayers, us as voters. That's who's to blame.
Yeah.
I'm to blame. You're to blame. Viewers and listeners, you're to blame. This is a result of doing the same thing every single time. And it doesn't work the first time, and it doesn't work the second time, and it doesn't work the third time, it doesn't work the fourth or fifth time, but you keep doing the same thing and you expect a different result. What's that called?
Insanity.
All right, 2 pieces of real estate that are making their waves on social media. First, Bolling Avenue. Is that next on the rundown?
Next on the rundown is the question of whether Belmont
I might save that for tomorrow's show because I got a 1:30 phone call that's extremely important, and I'm 12 minutes away from that. Let's go to 911 Bolling Avenue. This is 911 Bolling Avenue. And before I show these photos and talk about these listings, I want to say this. I want anyone and everyone that's in the real estate game to get the most return on investment possible for their real estate. I want anybody that is in a business scenario, and flipping real estate, guys, is a business. If you put the effort in and you do it the right way, I want you to maximize profits. And that doesn't make me greedy. That doesn't make me profits over people. That just means I know the value of a small business and the free enterprise and what it does for our economy and our community and driving it forward in positive fashion. I've been in business for myself for, 18 years in May. So almost 17 and a half years. Okay? I will champion small business always, every day and twice on Sunday. 911 Bolling Avenue, photos on screen, lower third on screen. $429,000 asking price for 911 Bolling Avenue. This is in Belmont, 911 Bolling Avenue. There's an open house this Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1,045 square feet. This is not a big house. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1,045 square feet. This is an extremely tiny lot, ladies and gentlemen, as well. This home has got a lot of people talking as what's wrong with this community. Can't afford it, can't this, can't that. I get it. I totally understand it. Okay? 911 Bolling Avenue has been redone. It's beautiful inside.
It definitely is.
I know the owner of this home. It's beautiful inside. This is a bungalow. Its location is what's driving its value, Belmont. You can walk to all the restaurants. You can walk to downtown Charlottesville. You can walk to anywhere in Charlottesville. It's built in 1940, so this home is 85 years old. It's got a $429,000 asking price. Is it worth this? That question is so ambiguous. I hate that question. Is it worth this? You know what determines the value of this house? Judah?
Whether or not someone will pay that amount.
Whether one person will agree to pay $429,000 or somewhere close to it.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. Mm-hmm. It takes one. It takes one person. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 1,045 square feet, a bungalow, $429,000 asking price for 911 Bolling Avenue, a home that's 85 years old on a lot the size of a post stamp. But I'll tell you what, interior, it is beautiful. You show those photos?
Yeah.
He's been rotating them on screen.
It also has a couple of sheds in the back. I mean, I'm saying that's more space. That's let's not forget.
Don't forget those sheds. I'm not hating. I hope I know who it is.
I don't know
Local business owner in town. It's got a business on High Street. I know who it is. Props to him. Now, the next one that's driving Reddit crazy. This one is driving the Charlottesville subreddit bananas.
Yeah.
Judah and I are beloved, especially Judah on the Charlottesville subreddit. Yeah, let me see. 1125 Park Street, Judah.
Yeah.
1125 Park Street. This is a $750,000 asking price. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,998 square feet. This home is basically 71 years old. Okay? Here's what's driving Reddit crazy on this one. It was sold in August of this year for $440,000. It comes on the market 2 months later for $750,000.
Yes.
70% increase from its August sales price, $440 to $750. Now,
crazy.
I know the owner of this home. This is a flipper. I know this person. Okay? They have put a lot of work into the house. Have you flipped the photos on screen?
I don't have photos for this one.
You don't have photos for this one?
Not for Park.
Oh, man, why don't you have photos of this one?
I didn't have time.
Did I ask you for that?
No.
I never asked you to get photos.
I said you're crazy. I don't.
You
have time
can't
to do
read
that.
my mind.
I wouldn't have had time anyways. Besides, these things were all WPs. I've got to convert them to JPEGs before I can get them on here. It's a mess.
After 16 years, you can't read my mind.
I can guess at it, but
$750,000 asking price for 1125 Park Street. For one thing, it's Park Street. It's one of the most prestigious streets in the city. You can walk to anything. This house is on half an acre, 0.46 to be exact. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, almost 2,000 square feet, $750,000. If anything, I think this house is priced slightly below market.
wow.
Priced slightly below market. Now, here's the challenge. Both 911 Bolling Avenue and 1125 Park Street are coming online in a time when the market has softened. I don't care what anybody says. Realtors can spin it any way they want. The real estate market right now is soft. Spin it any way you want. I've heard it spun so many different ways. The real estate market is soft. Price cuts are happening. Real estate market is soft. Buyers are clearly waiting until after the holidays to see what happens when Trump continues to pressure Fed Chair Powell and watch as rates continue to fall. If the rate environment is a point to a point and a half more affordable in the end of Q1 or the start of Q2 next year, that is hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in savings in monthly mortgage. Buyers are waiting. That's why the market is softening. That's the headwinds for 1125 Park Street and 911 Bolling Avenue. If 1125 Park Street and 911 Bolling Avenue had come on the market in the first quarter of 2025 or early Q2 2025, these homes would have been under contract in days. One of the owners is texting me that he's watching the show right now. I'll say it again. If the 911 Bolling Avenue and the 1125 Park Street had come online in March or April of this year, under contract in days. It's a different real estate market right now, though.
No doubt.
All right. Is the last headline UVA, Washington State?
Yep.
I might have time to do Belmont. Here's some conversation that will carry over to tomorrow's show. Andy McClure and the Shaughnessy brothers are opening up the Jervy next to Mas Tapas. Some call it a steakhouse. Some call it a great American restaurant. Some call it a steakhouse. Some call it a great American restaurant. They sell a boatload of protein at this restaurant. Some call it a steakhouse. Some call it a great American restaurant. Tomato, tomato. Okay? I'm going to ask you this question tomorrow. Has Belmont surpassed West Main as the top dining destination in the city of Charlottesville? At one time before COVID in 2019, slam dunk, the top dining destination in the city of Charlottesville was the downtown mall. Not even close. Curtis Shaver watching the program. He was the executive chef at Hamilton's. Hamilton's was crushing it. Couldn't get a seat on certain nights at Hamilton's. Downtown Grill was rocking and rolling. Whiskey Jar was rocking and rolling. Bebedero was in this upstairs place that you had to climb up to.
Yep.
Commonwealth Sky Bar was clicking on all cylinders. Draft Tap Room, the Fitzroy, Citizen Burger Bar, Zocalo, Fleury, Petit Pois, Jack Brown's. What am I forgetting? Sal's Cafe Italia, Ciano. What am I forgetting over here? Fellini's was open then.
Yeah.
What else was open over then?
I
just named a lot of them.
Yeah,
Before COVID, it was the clear-cut top dog in the room, the alpha dog. Right? Then after COVID, you started seeing the mall getting headwinds. And then West Main Street took away the moniker top dining destination in the city of Charlottesville. West Main, Peter Castiglione and Christian Kelly made West Main. Christian Kelly now the owner of Duners. Christian Kelly and Peter still own Maya, the real estate together. Peter Castiglione owns Maya outright now himself. He led the charge. Continental Divide led the charge. Then Daniel Kaufman starts flexing his muscle. Daniel Kaufman's a strong guy. Daniel Kaufman's a visionary. Daniel Kaufman, I hope you're watching the program. We're ready for restaurant number 3 from you, Daniel Kaufman. When's restaurant number 3 coming from you, Daniel Kaufman? Come on, number 3. Let's do it, Daniel Kaufman. Restaurant number 3. But he does Public. He does Black Cow Chop House, and he's crushing it. Stacking paper. Can't get a table on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday night at Black Cow or Public. Can't get a table on Thursday or Friday, Saturday night, on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday at Black Cow or Public. Maybe you open a third spot and send all that business over here. So it seems like would make a lot of sense to me, Daniel. Someone tag Daniel, let him know I'm giving him some props on this program. He'll know what I'm talking about right here. Has downtown Belmont now with the local, with Tavola, with Bell, with Mas Tapas, with was it Southern Crescent, with the Jervy?
Yep.
Is this now number one dining destination in the city? That topic on tomorrow's show. And with T-minus 65 seconds left for a seven-figure phone call, a seven-figure deal we're working on. That happens in 90 seconds at 1:30. I'll close with this. This Saturday, Washington State visits the University of Virginia for a big-time college football game. Homecoming for UVA. Virginia is a 17.5-point favorite, and they can lock up a bowl berth, Virginia, with 6 wins. If you had told me 7 games into the season that Virginia was bowl eligible, I would have laughed in your face. I would have said you're a dummy. But that's what's going to happen potentially this Saturday. UVA is a 17.5-point favorite. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. 6:30 kickoff on the crappy CW network. Tony Elliott from outhouse to penthouse. Thank you for joining us. So long, everybody.